Are you watching my profile on your laptop? And I'm having internet connectivity problems. Anybody online yet?
No.
We're live. Yes? Figuring this out as we go. Good evening. My name is Philip Edward Alexander of the Progressive Empowerment Party. Tonight with me I have Suzette Loa of the Progressive Empowerment Party, head of the Advisory Council. Good evening, Suzette.
Good evening.
And Keitha Chandler, who is head of the Mobilization Committee. So we are here to have a continuation of last week's conversation regarding the budget. And I know that Suzette has done some homework and has some information that she wants to share to guide the conversation. We asked Keitha to join us because on Saturday at our regular Saturday meeting, Keitha brought some interesting information that we thought should also be added to the conversation if we are to look at it from a frank and honest perspective. And that perspective being, how does this budget actually affect those most on the ground? Over the course of the past 2 weeks, following up on what was discussed in that budget, I have realized that the government did not do anything to manage the austerity, but have tightened the belts of those lowest on the rungs of society and maintained the status quo of those on top. In fact, the Ministry of Finance, for some reason, had an increase in their budget of $1.7 billion, and it just goes to a consolidated lump sum, to which we want to know, what is that for? Infrastructural development at a time of belt tightening does not seem to make sense. Why didn't the Minister of Finance go outside of Trinidad and Tobago or diversify the economy in some way, rather than look to move from left pocket to right pocket? But that is the purpose of tonight's conversation. So I won't preempt it. Over to you, Suzette.
Okay, well, before we move forward, I wanted to keep a promise and say hello to a very good friend of mine, Richard Sean Duku. This one is for you. Good night. So,
Sorry, this you're 1/3 of the thing.
Yes.
Richard Sean Duku, 1/3 of it is for you.
Richard and I have been chatting over the last couple of months about several ideas regarding diversification. And some of the ideas I think which resonate with the people are ideas that deal with encouragement of employment, earning foreign exchange by exporting, and of course reducing our dependence on fossil fuels. The government has not shown any initiative in this budget. Now, let's say that we give them, for the sake of argument, the benefit of the doubt that we are really in a recession. If you are going to be putting money into the various ministries in order to be able to bring the country up to par from an economic standpoint, the difficulty I'm having is the amount of money that's being invested into national security, which is the least performing ministry. Crime is a very serious issue for Trinidad and Tobago. It is probably the main issue regarding foreign investment. Foreign investors are not going to be looking favorably at Trinidad and Tobago. Tourism is also affected adversely because there are several warnings. Countries have issued several warnings to their citizens stating don't travel to Trinidad and Tobago because of the high crime. Shamfa Kujo recently stated that the hoteliers in Tobago need to step up their game towards dealing with tourism and filling their hotels and so on. And I want to ask, how does she propose that we do something like that? People are not coming to Tobago. Tourists are not coming to Tobago. Tobago is no longer a product, a tourism product, because of crime. You have sandals, on the other hand, which you think is your solution, your ace towards dealing with the problems we're having with tourism. Sandals is not going to contribute to the economy of Tobago. In fact, it's just going to take away what is rightfully belonging to the people of Tobago. So I am having, my concern with the budget is basically what I have information on and what I have been part of, which basically is diversification. There is no effort whatsoever on the part of the government, and in fact any government before, to do anything regarding food security, food independence, sustainable energy, nothing that deals with diversification. So basically that's my take on where I stand with the failure of the budget 2018.
Bringing that into stark relief, the reality is that nothing in this budget changed the game for anybody at the top tier of society. No luxury taxes were created, no property taxes were enacted that dealt with third, fourth, fifth, and 500th properties. Everything that was brought as an austerity measure at a time, and this is my biggest concern, at a time when the world's economy, the estimated growth of the world's economy has increased. It's galloping along, and only a few nations in the world are suffering the way this country is suffering. Our recession seems to be man-made. But I want to ask Keita. Keita, I want you to tell me, from your perspective, what do you think of the measures of the budget? The belt-tightening measures more than anything else. How does it affect people on the ground?
Well, good night, everyone. Good night, Mr. President.
You could speak as loud as you want. And I want to ask you this. Remember, she gave a third of it away. So if you have anybody you want to give your third to, you could.
Family and friends.
Family and friends.
Yeah. Actually, the budget going to affect down to the really small man, the poor man down on the ground, because nobody seems to remember them at all. Some people, because they probably could still face the grocery, they feel comfortable. It have people now will have to keep the children maybe a day or two from school to try to make up with that budget. It have those type. It also will affect, it have people working with minimum wage. I don't know who invent minimum wage. That they naturally have to live on $2,200 when the month reach.
$2,200 is a minimum wage monthly earning, right?
Yeah.
I heard the mortgage finance company today with this scandalous, you know, the Trini style that they want to make the ads to make it sound like it's grassroots people talking. But if you're earning more than $14,000 but less than $30,000 a month, you qualify for a mortgage from Toronto Mortgage Finance. Who's that aimed at? If you're earning $2,200 as minimum wage, how will you ever own a home in this country?
Well, actually, it didn't make fair to own a home. That is where minimum wage started. It's not like you bring it out is enough for you to work. And when you work, pray and hope you have enough to last you for when is the next payday. Even people who payday for next 3 months don't spend this month. It have that type.
And how do you see families being able to deal with the restructuring of GATE? GATE being an avenue where low-income homes were able to get their children educated from a tertiary level. How do you see that affecting?
That affecting. It will not affect the country real bad. It will not affect the children, especially, who want betterment.
Yeah.
Who seeing there was a sign of hope with GATE. And when that gone, there is no hope. So that means you don't break down their spirits already. So then what you have them going to school to do all this educational thing to study and to come out with your passes and all these things.
And have no access
and
to
you have no access to that. You don't even have jobs. A lot of people is saying that crime is because people are lazy and they don't like to work and they like easy money.
You need to speak up a little bit for me because they're asking that you speak up a little bit.
All right.
You need to speak up a little bit. So feel free to shout like Suzette.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mean that Suzette shouts, that's all I mean, but feel free.
But I will be doing that shortly. Mostly at Philip.
Right. Now, everybody does things differently, right? And as a man who don't want to grow a poor man could really know what it feels like. Crime stems from poverty. I don't care how people put it or what they say, it stems from poverty. And it have not everybody wanted to do crime. Not every youth you see in crime just get up at the and decide they're going and do crime. When you watch the back effect of crime, what they're doing it for mostly is money.
Yeah.
Now everything starts from the top and eventually it will trickle down to the small man on the ground because you're bringing up a more educated system, a more educated population. Now, if you is the head and you are doing wrong, eventually going to trickle down and trickle down and trickle down until the small man on the ground will know what it is like to fool another small man and do wrong too. Now, how to put it? People are catching the royal. Some people will go and say, get a job. Yeah. If you are a parent who have a child that went to school and finished school, have his passes, you done down below, you done tighten your belt already. So every $20 come out of your pocket, you have to remember this child have to travel.
Yeah.
Now mind you, we're not working for $20 an hour, so that is done an hour and something out of your pay money already for that specific day. This child have to travel, and while he traveling, he will need water. He have to buy water.
They don't have I just asked they don't have public transport like buses free for students from the beta money.
Yeah, but you finish schools. You finish school.
So this is young people who not in school.
Who not in school, who going, they done school and they're going to look for a job.
Going to look for a job. So
Possibly to go out back to study, but
right,
work part-time and that sort of thing.
Because probably their parents cannot afford to give them that extra money to go and get their schooling, or maybe to go university, because everything is money.
Right, so let's say a solution to that might be where the government extend the access to public transportation until the age of 18, for example. Would that be able to assist in getting children from secondary school, let's say at the age of 15, while they're working a part-time job, and then moving on to another level of study? Would that be able to help the family?
Actually, it don't have enough public transportation to move with people on time to reach certain destination on time.
Betham, I mean, what is the estimated population? 100,000 people in Canada? More for Betham, Laventille, Sealots. What kind of numbers are you talking about?
I wouldn't
Big
have,
numbers.
Yeah,
But I want to ask you a question. You're talking about young people going out in search of jobs. What kind of jobs?
Actually,
Are there jobs available?
no, not enough. And to tell you the truth, it's really hard for a child to go to school, get their education, and have to look to next to nothing. Remember, you want to lift up this child's standard, this child hope. When you go and you see you get your education, and to go and look for a job, you remember you're going for a specific job to suit your qualifications, because that is what they said you have to get. And when you're going out there, you're not getting any. So then you have to settle for second best if there is any. And it's not the same day that you go to look for the job, but shorten the $20 in my pocket or in the family pocket. To go to look for this job, you just get it. The next day you have to go again.
You see, you're speaking about that $20, and I want to bring it into perspective because I don't think people understand it. When you're talking about that $20, you're speaking about it with respect. The rest of us thinking about $20 as a $20.
That's because they have.
So I want you to tell me then, to the average person, that even the taxi drive to get to a job interview is a gamble.
Yes.
It's like eat or go.
Yes. So in other words, all right, let me put it like this. Say you're working for $120 for the day, right? Because when you break up your minimum wage, that way it will look like you're working for a day. $20 out of that going to help your child to go to look for a job. Now you need that extra 22 for you, so that is done. You don't break down your $80, you don't reach the $80 now. But that is just transportation, because it's $5 to a taxi nearly to anywhere you have to go. And then when you have to go off route, if the child have to come back to go home, you might have $7 or $8. Now he have to get water. He had to drink something, he have to eat his whole day out there. You send your child to look for a job to come back hoping he get a job. When he goes out there and he check 1, 2, 3, 4 places, he come back home. Or she come back home disappointed. The next day they have to get up again and go again. This is an extra money again coming out from your money. You have to live on this. When this child go out there and see where it is going out there, what do you give them? What hope and option you give them? People feel like you could just get up and go out there today and get a job. But have those who do that.
Plus, when the child gets a job, they need money to be able to take them for 1 or 2 weeks of
Right.
work until they
Before
get
they
paid.
get
Yeah.
first
But
pay.
I want to ask you a question. Is there any organization or state that people could go and register themselves to get a job?
When it
Is there an office anywhere that you could go to like an employment, like in the States, they have the Department of Employment, that you could go in and put down your name, and they will look for a job for you, or they will fit you with a job.
Yeah,
Anything like that, yeah?
Well, even if it's so corrupted that it's
No, but
a
do
friend
you
no
know-
friend or who know who.
No, but do you know of anything like that you could go to?
No.
What
If
about the other movements in your neighborhood and so on, like, self-help and Black Power movement and all of those?
you had to dig deep to find these things. These things is not at the reach of us just like that. Self-help.
But I need to ask this, and I want to make a point, that we're dealing with the most vulnerable in society and the people most in need of help. Why do we not have somewhere that instead of him having to travel and beat road all over the place, why don't we have an organization inside the Progressive Empowerment Party? Right now, Sarah Nabi, she is the head of the women's arm. She is also working up an HR document for us to bring internally, where we're going to do a jobs program inside the party, where we are going to be looking for jobs for members who are unemployed. Is there anything like that in Trinidad for poor people to go and say that I would like to get a job and I'd like to register?
Not to my knowing. I don't know anything of that. I don't know.
So what are the programs in place right now? How
OJT does that?
um
On the job training, is that closed off to a specific group? Do you have to have passes?
Yeah.
OJT is
Yeah.
not hustler work.
No.
OJT
Yeah.
is not labor jobs. What is there? Because if the government does not have, now I'm saying this, and our Chief Research Officer, Anne-Marie, if you're watching, I'd like to know, do we as a country have anything like this? Because if we don't, I think that is a starting point
yeah.
that we need to look at.
All right. Well, I don't know if this sounds, sensible enough to the public, or I have a problem where I find every school a child have to reach a certain age to leave that school, and have to be, when you leave, you will have a certain amount of qualification. Why it is that we have all these schools in Trinidad and Tobago, that when these children reach there, you don't have somebody who already knows 25 children in Form 5, they are looking to finish school, you have their names already. When these children leave school, is either they want to further their studies or they want to go and start work.
Mm-hmm.
Why you don't have something in place where you can get them from straight into that school
Slipstream, one thing.
and straight to a job,
Straight to a job.
to suit them?
So you know that they're predisposed to be a
it's not
carpenter
like
and
you-
mason,
exactly.
and you make sure that you have a job like
Very
for
good,
them.
very good.
Now that's how a proper functioning nation works. I know that there are countries like Sweden and Switzerland and Holland. They tax you heavily. But if you lose your job for 6 months, they're paying you your full salary while they're working to find you a job. We need to look at that. I don't understand why, for all the budgeting we budget, we do not look at lifting the lowest in society and give them options besides hustle and crime.
Because we have a sense of greed and show off and being better than somebody.
But I have people in the government in both sides that when I raise these issues, they want to tell me that people in the ghetto and in Beta, Mova, Lavantel and Silots and in Move and Factory Road and Covin and Richmond, La Puerta and Lansbita and Abipuja and Big Yard, that they have spinning rims and they have fat tires and they have direct TV. So they want to say those things about those people like if the ghetto booming.
No, listen to me.
Is the
listen,
ghetto
listen to
booming?
me. Listen to me. The ghetto booming?
Is the
no,
ghetto booming?
It's booming with crime.
No, but people outside there pass and see one direct TV dish and think everybody be ghetto nice.
Yeah, but if you pass and you see one direct TV dish, you don't know how much people living in that house have to come together maybe to pay
And
that bill.
contribute, yeah.
You don't know that you cannot just watch that. Why it is we are looking for to say that you are under the poverty line or you're suffering, you have to be digging in a bin.
Right.
Why you
Let
have
me
to
ask
reach
you,
to that
what
level?
about in schools? Do you have career guidance? Let's say, for example, you have teachers or a group or some sort of
I think I
effort
finished
towards.
school way out of that league.
To everybody
to
watching the
understand.
show, everybody watching the show now, if you could pause for 1/2 minute and share it on every wall, every page, share it on yours, ask your friends to share it. We want to get the information out in the public space to inform, empower, and get the people asking these questions too. Why isn't this how we run this country? Why are we leaving so many of our people behind, at risk, dispossessed, in hot spots? And we're talking lockdown and we're talking lockup, but nobody looking for a way and a means to change these people's condition.
Now, this is the reason why I lobby so hard for diversification. Because very much like what Keitha is saying, you need to create employment. Diversification creates employment. If you empower communities to grow their own food, harness their own energy, use the people within the communities to service the companies that are producing food products and so on, you create employment.
Yeah.
You also create something that is going to be a very pivotal thing for society, which would help with crime, which is you're creating a sense of pride within your community. Your community is thriving, the people are working, people are able to earn an income and to take care of their families. They would be able then to have a sense of pride for their community. Safety would be at an all-time high because people would be more meaningfully engaged in doing something that is, towards the support of their community development. So that's why I'm saying that if you are to in any way deal with poverty and deal with people having access to means of committing crimes because of poverty, then if you were to create or empower the community and give them a chance to be able to take care of themselves, utilize the people within the community, do you see that as being a chance for the people to survive?
The first issue raised on Suzette Lauer's list is the issue of crime. We've spent more money on fighting crime than on dealing with the other more important issues of the nation. And we're drilling right down to the bottom. What makes people choose crime? Some people are left with no choice, and that's what we're talking to Keitha about here. She's bringing a message from where the life hard. She bringing that message to explain to us who may not understand the complete lack of choice. Somebody just messaged to say that maybe that's what CPEP is for, but then there's a massive gap. You cannot tell me that you have children going to an education system funded $5 billion, costing us $250,000 per child per year. And it is better you put the child out of school and give them that money.
They have no access to jobs.
If they have no access to jobs, if you're not training them in any meaningful way to contribute to society, what then is the point? If you cut them off at the age where they age out of the school system and there is no job system, are we in fact creating crime?
Yes. You are. Let me say something, right? Let me just explain something. When you're growing up in an area where everybody around you is seeing is poverty, it's like you're growing up in a home. When you watch your grandmother, she's still the same way, in the same house, with the same chair, everything, but you're seeing her things going good. You seeing provision on the table. All a child concerned about when the day reach, when you're small growing up, you getting things to eat. And anything you ask for, you seen it reaching by your table. You don't know how long it takes to get there. You don't know what your parents did to get it there, but at least you're full. Sometimes you eating and don't know mommy is starving, because that is what she have to do to make sure that you eat. Nobody knows that. When this child now gets big, right? They're looking now to see if they can better themselves. Mommy say go to school, get your education. You are going to school to get your education. Not everybody was made to take in books, right? And you go there, things ain't working out for you, maybe you're taking up certain things in school, then you will be studying your parent at home. You're studying the life too. But as we move forward, things evolve. Means we step up, things get more modernized. Meaning you are bringing a world opening to the people where we could see cable now.
Right.
So we eyes start to get flashy. And when you see mommy spend or granny spend almost all her life trying to build this one little 2-bedroom house, and mommy done grow up in it because you didn't know, you is grandchild in there. What are you leaving in this child's mind to think about when everything evolving? All he just seeing now is, when will I ever get to build a house? When will I ever get to help mommy get this place
And that's an
going.
important point. That's an important point, because if people cannot have a vision for their lives, we are leaving them as also ran. We are leaving them failed at the starting gate. If a man cannot have a vision for his life, how I can own a home so I can find a wife and raise a family, what are we leaving him as options?
Yeah. The having no access to employment can leave a community despondent because you have basically very limited choices. You're not going to be as educated as those coming from the more privileged areas because you don't have access to that disposable income to be able to do that. So we cannot look or paint society with the same brush. There are different strategies we have to employ for different communities, and that's just how it is because it's dynamic. My philosophy has always been to invest in the children, because that's basically where the future is for whether it's a household, it's a community, or a country. And if you have forsaken the children and the children have gone hungry, it is an indication that you are failing. And so we need to learn now, and I'm actually just building on what you're saying, we have to learn to govern from the ground up and not the top down.
Exactly.
From the top, you can't possibly, from a distance, according to that song, everything looks good. But by the time you get down to the ground and you see where all the problems are and all the cracks in the surfaces, and you realize it's not as good as I thought it was. But you could never know that if you're always at the top. You need to govern from the bottom up.
Listener, remember you walk with your child every day to go to school, right? You send your child to school. Not everybody could go with theirs. You send your child to school. But while your child is going to school, your child pass and may see a filer on the block every day. Now he is known to this person. He know the person, the fella know him, everything good, nice, good. You're growing up in the community. After a while, this child is going to be a young fella. When you now going out there to look for work, you might stop a day, and while you're there talking from the block life, you might see 2-3 people pass. This guy collect money. He ain't going away. He ain't had to find money to go away. He just there and he will collect money. Now, a certain deterioration starts within that child. Not every child mindset is strong enough.
Yeah.
People have to realize that. And when you see that, and then you start now, and you're saying, well, what is the sense running to school when you could stay home and make a money? Now you could start to interact and start to see what is going on, and that looks good to you because everything is dealing with money. And the more you have, you see, you gain to live the luxury that you would like to live, because the standard of life right now in Trinidad is very high.
Yeah.
It is high. The level, and our youths who want to be there. Why we have cable, we have BT, we have all these things. Our ladies want to look like Beyonce every day. All these things cost money. Didn't know that, right? And you have to, when you see these things, the money that you will go, when you hear you getting $2,200 a month, is that any motivation or anything to send somebody out there to really want to work, or you're making them want to stay on the block and sell? You are encouraging them to stay on the block and sell. Some people will say, that is laziness. Why they don't go out there and work? Yeah, send all the youths out there and work. Where's the job?
Yeah. Let me ask this question though, in public schools, because I'm not really familiar with how the system works now, but in public schools, if you have like, let's say a guidance officer or maybe a dean of studies, and they say, these 4 children come from underprivileged homes, but they show really good potential. If they are given that attention that they need in school, perhaps we can help them develop their cognitive abilities and so on, and get state sponsorship and that sort of thing for studies. Is there anything like that in school to identify the gifted children and help them move forward?
That is all well and good, but you're still not dealing with home.
Exactly, and
You're still not dealing with
I
home.
just found out that this $1.7 billion that was added to the Ministry of Finance is to build these $750,000 houses that the private sector were given through the Ministry of Finance to work with the HDC, for which the contractors and the developers are going to be rewarded with an extra $100,000. So it's going to cost the state $850,000. But in his smartness, Carl Minbert said the last government was stealing $500,000. So he's saving us $400,000 by only stealing one. That's what passed for a budget in this country. But $850,000 for a house, which is selling to people for $750,000, so the rest of the population subsidizing it. No problem at all. But what is the mortgage payment on one of those houses? Because at zero deposit, zero interest, it's $500 per $100,000. How much it is through the home mortgage bank? How much it is through the existing banks? Carl Imbert said that that will bring a house in line with everybody else because the mortgage on that house is $2,500 a month. Keita just told us if you're fortunate enough to have a minimum wage job, you're taking home $2,250. So who is this plan for? And they're going to build 30 to 40,000 houses for who? The Minister of Finance said that the purpose of the HDC and the purpose of the housing program was to put all of the most exposed in a house. Who is this program for? I want to stick a pin right there, but I need for you to understand, this is how you have to take the budget apart. You have to question them on their own words and on their own policies. We're dealing with a situation in the country of rampant crime. We're going to spend $8 billion again this year dealing with that crime. Is crime by itself a business in this country? Are we generating business for crime suppressing companies? Is that what we're doing? Are we buying OPVs and helicopters and guns and ammunition and pepper spray and bulletproof vests? Is it that we need criminals to drive the demand for criminal fighting gear? And is that what Trinidad and Tobago is doing? Is the government deliberately failing the vast underclass of the third wealthiest nation in the Western Hemisphere? Why do we have a budget today that nobody, not the government, not the opposition, is looking at from those most exposed in society, those living in what we've come to call the ghettos, where the crime starts? Keita said earlier today, poverty is the mother of crime. There are people sitting down in air-conditioned comfort on microfiber furniture who will argue with that statement, who do not know how it is to get excited over slippers from the dump, or that somebody find a box of chocolates that some company throw away a nice Christmas morning. We are not paying attention to our people. We are leaving them isolated without hope and opportunity. And when crime comes along as an option and they step up, that's why this is a criminal country.
Mr. Alexander, here what I had a conversation today with a lady, and I was explaining to her. I said, when is election time, right? These ministers, before they get into government, if you are living in a latrine, they will fine you. If you are on the top, is the highest part of the mountain, they will fine you. They have sensors around that pass to check if you're still living in the area, you and who, and all these things, right? How come when they do get in there, you don't see them coming with this extra effort and say, well, I remember this person with 3 or 4 little children was living in a latrine. We need to do something for them and organize. Why it is that when you're going to help somebody, everybody loves to say is gimme.
Why would people looking at you say 3 and 4 people living in a latrine and think that you're being sensational? What is life like in that community? What is life like for the average person?
Describe what an average day is like in your house.
Yeah.
All right. It have people still have outhouse. We call it latrine. Right now in Trinidad and Tobago still. Right? I do. I love it. The reason why I love it, Wasa make me love it even more. I don't even think I want a flush toilet. Because of the height where you live on the hill, the water sometimes don't even reach the people to the bottom of the hill. So it not reaching to the top. So if I had a flush toilet, what would have been my position on top there? It have people have flush toilet in their house and they have to use it like an outhouse because they cannot even flush it. They would have glad to have an outhouse. It have people it have a lot of single parents, a lot. Some of them, the fathers are already died. These is children, they have to mind. It have a lot of single parents out here. Nobody don't even know. Who working 2 jobs, have to leave the children home sometime and hide because everything is on Facebook. People don't even know, not everybody could pay a babysitter, not everybody willing to watch somebody's child for free. So sometimes you take the chances on leaving your child home. Things get so bad now. When you used to leave your child home, say stay inside, and you go to work, come back, you used to meet your child inside. People don't know your situation. They will take a phone and quick to call and say you leave your child unattended. And when the police come now and anybody come and take your child, you is the worst mother out in the public's eyes, but they don't even know the reason why you're doing it. You have to survive. It's not, they say, yes, you must get somebody to watch them. It's easy to say that, you know. But when you go sometimes to people to watch your child, some people are not going to do that all the time. You have no choice sometimes, and when you decide to stay home, you lost a day, and that day come like you lost a whole week pay. People do not understand. If you still could run to the grocery and buy a piece of cheese and make a macaroni pie on a Sunday, do not tell everybody else. Do it. Forget you. Don't feel like how everybody else is living. It has people cannot.
What are the most important things the government could do right now to change life? Because
I was just about to ask that question.
you have members of parliament. You have Laventille East, Laventille West, Port of Spain South, that dealing with these communities. In Diego Martin West, where the Prime Minister is the member of parliament for 31 years, you talk about water, don't reach the top of the hill, Rich Plain. 65 years, they never see water. You know? I said people talk about 3 weeks and 3 months. 65 years. And counting. They have all the plumbing. Just the water.
You see, nobody will understand them people and at a level because they're not in this situation.
Jobs. A jobs program. Not a handout program.
Everything is on handout.
The people in those communities want the handout or they want a hand up?
They want a hand up, and to others, that is a handout. And I am real angry over that because, come on, there is one man leaving the country with about 40 houses in his pocket called money. They will rob, we are seeing the people, the poor people, the people on the ground. It have educated people, they are seeing where things could have been better off long time. We're supposed to be more advanced. Why it is we are so backward?
What can the government do to improve that situation for you?
All right.
Let's phrase it differently. If the school system was functional, if the children spending the 5 years in that school system were coming out with, besides an education, some sort of means to earn a job and earn a living, because as soon as you could to contribute to the home important, yes?
Yeah.
So that if you could come out of the school and earn a living, it would be important, yes?
Yeah.
So it is important to the people at the lowest classes that the children be trained in the education system so that they can move from school system to work system.
Yes, but it still was back down, straight away leaving it out. Home. You can have everything nice in school. You see, your comfort zone is your home. When you come back home, you have to lie down and sleep. Sometimes you will go in school and have all the luxury.
I think that's what Philip was saying. What he was saying basically is that after you come out from a school environment, you go and you have access immediately to some form of employment where you can contribute to the home. But I don't think, I think I want to expand on that to say that I don't think just coming out of school and having a job is sufficient. I think you should be able to also, while having a job, be able to still pursue further education so that you can take yourself a little further out of the environment of poverty. So,
you have to deal, this is it, we still pass home. We still bypass home. You have to deal with home first.
And how do you propose that that is dealt with?
We in the Progressive Empowerment Party have proposed that we make available to those lowest in society, those most at risk, the ability to own your own home.
That is good, but it have another way you can hit that too, which is very nice. And I think I don't know if it is a brilliant enough idea, but to me, I find it good. Now, it have people live Laventille, and they rather stay in Laventille. They don't want to move, but they don't have the finance, or they're not getting the job they have. Like the bank have a certain way. You're not supposed to get a certain amount of money, no matter what you bring towards them. You're in passing that, right? These people living there, why you don't give them that same option to own a home right on their spot?
No, but that's what we're talking about. What we're talking about is making finance available. We're not building houses, you know. We're making finance available up to 1.5 million, what you could qualify for, because everybody could qualify. But we're talking zero deposit, zero interest for 30 years for first-time homeowners. That means for a loan of $100,000, you would be paying a mortgage of $500 a month. So a minimum wage earner could qualify. So $100,000 could build a starter home. $100,000. I deal with the people in Waterhole and Cocorite on a daily basis, Harding Place. I deal with them. And I know the conditions they live under and what $10,000 could do to one of those houses.
Yeah, that sounds $10,000. I want people to know we know money now. We not everybody know that ain't doing much, Mr. Philip.
No, but I'm saying to you, but if you could qualify, because at the end of the day, this is not a handout. We can't go to the people and say that we're giving away $100,000 to everybody.
No.
So we're saying that we're making sure that somebody have a job, you're a cashier in a restaurant, you're a nurse, you're a security guard, you have a minimum wage salary. And we want to say that you could qualify $100,000. There are companies in the world that will build starter homes, a proper 1,000 square foot house, 3 bedrooms. And you start with that, a proper home.
Well, if this is what I'm saying, if all right, say like how you do the AGC building houses all over the place, and you're putting people now. Remember, when you build these houses all over the place, you might take somebody from Laventille and send them right Shogunas, or they go on Shogunas. The whole
Break down the community. Yeah.
Right, you change up the whole lifestyle. They children have to go to school. All these things change, transportation, money-wise, all these things. Some of them rather not go, they rather stay because you're going and put them in extra expense in traveling-wise to and from work. What I'm saying is, the same way you could take that money and build the whole house, then take them and put them in it and want them to pay a rent or whatever. Why that same option don't come which part they live in? Build that same whole house. That same house that they would have taken.
You and I saying the same thing.
Yeah, but how you put it across?
No, because you see, at the end of the day, when you take state funds and from the top down, we need to make sure that we say this clear. But from the top down, we want to make sure that any access to any finance, it must be something that the person could repay.
Right.
Now, there will be times when you have to literally give somebody a hand up. You have to literally give them a hand up so they can start to play.
I believe all poor people, every single one, need a hand up. Nobody ain't better than nobody. Not because you may be able to buy a little more something than me. Understand what I'm saying?
I do.
People will always say, and I don't like when they say, gimme.
That's what we say.
The gimme that's gimme real vex. It's not the gimme. You want people to start to live a certain standard of life, and they're going to take them for. Why it is I have to wait 60 years to enjoy my luxury? Why I have to wait? And do we want to stand up and dance with my friends in the same house?
Well, everybody will tell you the same thing, because the average person and anybody from the lowest to the highest in society want those same things. So all we are saying is, right now the system is set up and it excludes a lot of people. That even the Minister of Finance spoke of a $2,500, $750,000 house as the baseline. And we say that can't be the baseline, because they have people who cannot afford that. But there are people who $100,000 loan for a starter home that will cost them $500 a month. They can afford that, and they will stay and they will pay that. And as their circumstances improve, they could expand and they can access more credit if they need it.
That is good, Mr. Philip.
But let's take it back here, because we will drill down to that and have conversations.
Yeah.
And those of you who want to be part of this conversation. It will continue Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. We do it every Saturday. It's an open forum. Come and be a part of the conversation. We're just saying, right? We can't redo the whole budget in one conversation. But we're talking here, we're saying that to impact the nation, we need to be able to fix what's going on in the hotspots and the at-risk communities. If we stop the crime, we save $8 billion. If we don't need to spend that money on police, jail, army, Coast Guard, all of this to deal with the same crime, if what we're dealing with here is social management, if we had a government that would come into the communities and do redevelopment programs, make home ownership a reality, jobs and job programs where people can actually get a job that becomes a career that they could grow into for the rest of their lives, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. I don't know, I mean, I understand what you're saying in terms of home ownership. And what I have found, I mean, if you look at different studies that were done relating to sociology and so on, people tend to spend a lot more money. There are two areas in a family's financial budget that receive the most attention, which would be home and children. I feel very strongly about home ownership because I feel if more people owned a home, they would be motivated towards taking care of a home. And to take care of a home, you need to be financially able to do so. So that might be a motivating factor for you, knowing that you have your own home and you're working towards developing and keeping your home in a certain standard that you would like to have it. Your children will be encouraged to seeing that you are a homeowner and that you are dedicating a good amount of your effort towards maintaining your home. Your children would see that owning an asset, whether or not it's a home or anything of value, requires hard work. It requires discipline, and it requires having the opportunity and the tools provided for you by your government or your community. Nobody is saying that what you're getting is a handout. What you're getting is a
Upliftment.
a chance
A hand up.
to make a difference in your life. And you can't do it on your own. So that means to say that you need some assistance. But it should not be where you are constantly being assisted. It has to be where you are given a nudge and you are saying, well, you know, I can take it from here. I know what I need to get. Let someone sit with these people and say, okay, this is what you need to achieve. You need a home, you need to get a job, and you need to start taking care of your children. This is what we have to work on.
To those of you now joining us, I am Philip Edward Alexander of the Progressive Empowerment Party, PEP. This is Suzette Loa, the head of the Advisory Council. They are the engineers that build on the policies and flesh it out. This is Keitha Chandler. She's head of our mobilization team that's taking the message to the ground. At the end of the day, what we hope to accomplish in these panel conversations is to bring the national discussion closer to home. We hear vague terms like poverty and crime, but we have no idea what it means. I had on a radio show today, we actually had to discuss that until the people in San Fernando West pay attention to what's going on in Laventille West and they pay attention to Tobago Martin West, we can never really be a nation. We need to be, Tobago West must know what's going on in Caroni. We need to be a nation where we understand that everybody supposed to have access to the same bare minimum. We're saying that according to the United Nations Development Index, that should be access to shelter, food, clean water, air, education, healthcare, for the family. We have a large cross-section of our society that's not afforded that. The school systems that is made available to them doesn't have to function. There's nobody there can report it to. The Minister of Finance, the Minister of Education not going on television to talk about the performance. I've never heard about on TV about the performance of schools in Morva, Bitam, Laventille and Silots. So I don't know if they don't know and I don't know if they don't care. But these schools are important. We have a SCA examination. The Progressive Empowerment Party wants to abolish it. We want to make all schools 10-year schools and zone them. We want to make it possible for you to own a home within the community where your children are going to school and to create jobs programs that helps put the right people with the right jobs and develop both our people and our business sector. Yeah?
Yeah, now, Keitha, I mean, basically the ideas we have for education, well, the reforming education and social welfare and so on. The success of the country will be determined by how the lower class or the underprivileged are able to survive. So if what you're saying is that basically what being a low income household means in terms of being able to afford a home, it means that you are going to be permanently stuck in that environment if nothing is done immediately to help alleviate that. You can't do that on your own because you do not have the means to do it. So that raises the question as to how a government or a community is going to become involved in helping to elevate the people within that sector or those societies. It is easy to say that we can do a grant or that we can assign a certain amount, allocate a certain amount of money to community development, but how much really of that money does the community see? Because we have had the same depressed societies for over 20, 30 years. Nothing has changed. What we need to now do is we need to be able to use our money efficiently. We need to empower the people to give them a lot more choices in saying how their community is developed and what they need in their community. We can't sit at the top and say, you need to have this, this, and this. We need to talk to the people. I mean, only the people in the community can tell us what is needed.
Susan, I have to ask you a question because we have about 7 more minutes left, and I have to ask: are the people of Morva, Beetham, Laventille, Sealots, are the people of the depressed and at-risk communities open to conversations that take them away from blind political allegiance to redevelopment and understanding not only what they're entitled to, but to have that conversation with people outside who people say are the traditional party that they're going to vote for regardless of what happens to them?
Once that conversation, they are, but they have been burnt so much that it's real hard to just come to them. They burn. They just is like, we don't want to hear no politicians.
Disillusion.
They do us the same all the time. They all talk what we want to hear, and when they get in, they do what they had to do. My solution in that is, don't tell me all. We have 2. Them is the all. We never had 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Then you could have said all. But you cannot keep putting back the same 2 people and then judging another one and saying all. And especially when they are showing you a better way of prosperity, of hope, of good ideas, because you have common sense. Everybody, I believe, born with a little bit of common sense. So you're supposed to know when somebody talking right and when they're talking madness.
Especially if it affects you positively.
Very good. And if you in the ghetto and you really never wanted to be in the life of crime and somebody is coming to show you hope and opportunity where you can end up better, you could see your house, you could eventually get a house and all these things. Yes, you may not get to turn everybody's mind, but the majority in the ghetto want a better life. And you see, when you see they could watch you and see they could build a house for their family and comfortable and live that nice comfortable life to make them feel in their own, how to put it, oasis. That is a real big watch for Christmas. Who is he shopping? Just to make that house look the sweetest so that when that child gets up, he feeling he's seeing that Christmas. That is a very big upliftment to a child, to a mother, to anybody.
To those of you who've been watching, this is Keita Chandler. She's head of our mobilization committee. We're taking the message to the ground. She'll be here with us on Saturday, yes? Saturday at noon. We're building out. We have a team that going on the ground in all of the communities. Tonight we were focused on Morva, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots mostly, but we will be taking it throughout the country, including the poverty-stricken areas of St. Joseph and Tobago. We need to go everywhere that people are being left behind. Suzette, what do you have to say in closing?
It bothers me tremendously that a country as wealthy as Trinidad and Tobago still has so many families suffering. Billions of dollars budgeted every year, and we still have the highest rate of poverty that we have, and it keeps growing. And I cannot understand why more effort is not being placed on the eradication of poverty. Poverty is a heartbreaking issue that we need to address. These are people. These are families that we need to start taking care of. They belong to Trinidad and Tobago. Their country needs to do something for them.
This Saturday at noon, the Progressive Empowerment Party invites everyone, the entire country. Join us at our headquarters, 19 Stanmore Avenue, for a frank and open conversation for the first hour and a half. After that, at 1:30, we are having a in-depth policy conversation with all of our team leaders, our entire executive. Will be connected via internet link with our overseas team members. It would be an excellent time to come and be a part and add your voice to the development of this new change, this orange revolution, this orange family. Come and be a part of it. You're all invited. Spread the word, tell your friends, tell your family, especially those who are not on the internet, who don't have access to Facebook. Every Thursday we plan to have these panel conversations, and as much as possible we would have executive members. Our PRO, Tony Defoe, will be one of the people hosting these panel discussions continuing next week Thursday. And I would like to, before I go, say a special thank you to our chairman, Felicia Holder, who is also our chief cameraman and operator behind the scenes.
Camera person.
Cameraman. The Bible says all men. Anyway, Keitha, darling, thank you so much. If there's any you would like to say in closing.
I just would like to say to everyone, if you probably are much better off, or you seeing where this budget is not affecting you, or you find it's just, or it just raised by $1 or 50 cents, and let us don't make a fuss. Don't judge the ones you see having a fun time. It have plenty people who ain't having no kind of time at all. Don't put them down in that same category, please. Especially at time when I see it had a big event and they watch the people on that event and say, look where they are. That event is not the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. Because a lot of poor people, plenty of us, couldn't reach there. We can't even see how to reach to work. So, please be mindful when all you're thinking or talking. It have a lot of poor people not going to see the way right now.
And yeah, so to bring it to a close, thank you all very much for joining us. We know tomorrow's a holiday. It's the first People's Holiday. Is that a normal holiday, or this is the first time we do it?
They've not made it permanent yet.
They've added another holiday.
Yes.
In about 25 years, there'll only be 2 working days left in the year. The rest would be holidays, yes? But
we can only hope.
But to the first peoples, happy First People's Day. You all were here first, and we thank you for allowing us to come and join you. All of our far-flung and all our ancestors who came from all the far-flung countries to join you. That's a topic for another conversation. But tonight, we thank you all for joining us, and we will see you on this panel discussion next week, Thursday at 8 o'clock. Good night.